Tourists thought they were looking at a peaceful herd of cows until the shapes moved in a way no cow ever could. What they saw that day was no ordinary herd, and it changed everything. "Oh my God, look at those cows!" Sarah shouted, pointing excitedly at a cluster of brown shapes scattered across the hillside. Laughter and camera shutters followed as the tourists rushed to capture the idyllic moment against the backdrop of the pristine Swiss Alps. Beside her, Mark raised his binoculars, his smile fading as he studied the animals more closely. "They don't look quite right," he murmured, a crease forming between his brows. Their guide, Hans, a sturdy local with years of mountain experience, followed her gaze. His face, usually calm and steady, turned serious. "There shouldn't be any livestock here," he said, voice low. "This area is a protected reserve." The group fell quiet. What once looked like a peaceful scene now felt off. The animals moved strangely, too smooth, too deliberate, as if they weren't animals at all. "Wait a minute," muttered Tom, an older man with salt and pepper hair. "Those aren't cows. They're moving all wrong." A retired dairy farmer from Wisconsin, Tom's voice carried the authority of experience. Sarah lowered her camera, her smile fading. "What else could they be?" she asked, zooming in on her camera's display. The shapes on the hillside looked increasingly alien the longer she stared. Before anyone could answer, a low, guttural sound rolled across the valley. It wasn't quite a moo and not quite a growl, something primal, almost alien. The noise reverberated through the rocks beneath their feet, sending shivers through the group. Hans's face turned pale. "We need to leave now." His normally jovial tone was replaced by urgent panic. He began herding the group back toward the bus, his eyes darting nervously between the creatures and the horizon. "What are those things?" Mark insisted, still peering through his binoculars, his scientific curiosity battling his growing sense of dread. Hans grabbed his arm, pulling him away. "Trust me, sir, you don't want to know." His grip was firm, his urgency palpable as they hurried toward the bus. None of the tourists noticed the sleek black helicopter appearing on the horizon, heading straight for the hillside. Deep within a state-of-the-art laboratory buried in the Swiss Alps, Dr. Eliza Thornton stood before a panel of stern-faced government officials and wealthy investors. Behind her, a holographic display showcased a groundbreaking project. Her hands trembled slightly, but her voice was steady. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began, "what you see before you is the future of sustainable agriculture and ecological conservation. We call it Project Eden." The display shifted, revealing a creature that looked like a cross between a cow and an alpaca, thick fur, muscular limbs, and an adaptable frame. By combining the hardiness of mountain wildlife with the domesticated traits of livestock, she continued, "we've created a species capable of thriving in harsh environments while providing sustainable food and resources." One of the investors leaned forward, skepticism etched on his face. "And you're certain these creatures are safe?" Dr. Thornton nodded. "Absolutely. They've been engineered to be docile and easily managed. Their genetic makeup makes them resistant to common diseases and parasites." Another official raised her hand. "What about containment? If they escape, could they disrupt local ecosystems?" Dr. Thornton smiled reassuringly. "Each animal is implanted with a GPS tracker and a remote sedation device. In the unlikely event of an escape, we can locate and retrieve them quickly." The room fell silent as the implications of her work sank in. Finally, the lead investor stood. "Dr. Thornton, you have our full support." Applause erupted. Dr. Thornton allowed herself a small smile, unaware that her creation would soon spiral far beyond her control. Months later, Project Eden seemed to be a resounding success. A small herd of alpacas thrived in a remote, fenced-off area of the Alps. The creatures adapted well to their environment, requiring minimal care while producing high-quality meat, milk, and wool. But as winter approached, problems began to emerge. The alpacas, initially docile, started exhibiting strange behaviors. They became more aggressive, their vocalizations shifting from soft moos to deeper, almost menacing sounds. Dr. Thornton and her team worked tirelessly to understand what was happening. They discovered that the extreme cold had triggered a dormant gene sequence, enhancing the creature's survival instincts but also making them more feral. Then disaster struck. A massive avalanche swept through the research facility, destroying fences and equipment. In the chaos, nearly half the herd escaped into the wilderness. Damaged GPS trackers left the team with no way to locate the creatures. Sightings of the mysterious animals soon trickled in from remote villages. Dr. Thornton's worst fears were realized. Her creation, meant to help humanity, now posed a threat to the delicate alpine ecosystem. Desperate to contain the situation, she turned to her government contacts. A covert task force was assembled, combining military personnel and wildlife experts. Their mission: recapture the escaped alpacas before the public discovered the truth. The tour bus sped down the winding mountain road, its occupants tense and silent. Hans spoke rapidly in Swiss German into his phone, casting nervous glances out the window. "What do you think those things were?" Sarah whispered to Mark, her voice trembling. Before he could answer, the bus screeched to a halt. A sleek black SUV blocked the road. Two men in dark suits stepped out, their expressions grim. One of them boarded the bus. "Ladies and gentlemen," he announced, "I'm Agent Miller with the Swiss Federal Office for the Environment. I'm afraid we need to confiscate all cameras and phones containing photos or videos from today's excursion." A chorus of protests erupted, but Agent Miller raised a hand. "I assure you, this is a matter of national security. Cooperate, and you'll be free to continue your vacation." Reluctantly, the tourists handed over their devices. Sarah clutched her camera tightly before finally relinquishing it. "We deserve to know the truth," she said, locking eyes with Agent Miller. The agent hesitated, then sighed. "Perhaps it's better if you understand the gravity of the situation." The bus was escorted to a secure facility nestled in the mountains. Armed guards patrolled the perimeter, and scientists in lab coats moved with purpose. In a fenced enclosure, the tourists caught a glimpse of the creatures, massive, shabby hybrids that looked like a cross between cows and llamas. Dr. Thornton herself greeted the group, her face etched with exhaustion. "I want to personally apologize for what you've experienced," she began. "My intention was to solve world hunger, not create a potential ecological disaster." Over the next hour, the tourists were given a crash course in genetic engineering and the complexities of Project Eden. They watched as the scientists demonstrated the creature's unique abilities: incredible strength, resistance to extreme cold, and highly nutritious milk and meat. "The potential benefits are enormous," Dr. Thornton explained, "but we underestimated the challenges of containing them." "So what happens now?" Mark asked. Agent Miller's expression was tense as he spoke. "We're still working to contain the remaining creatures, but keeping this under wraps is critical. If word gets out, the panic could be uncontrollable." As the tourists gathered their things and prepared to leave, Sarah glanced back at the hillside and turned to Dr. Thornton. "When we first saw those shapes, we honestly thought they were just cows." Dr. Thornton offered a dry smile. "Life tends to surprise us. Maybe someday, seeing alpacas grazing in the Alps will feel as normal as cattle in a pasture. Until then, we're counting on your silence." The bus ride back was unusually quiet. Each passenger stared out the window, weighed down by thoughts of what they'd witnessed. What had started as a simple alpine getaway had turned into something far more extraordinary. Sarah leaned into Mark, resting her head on his shoulder as the mountain peaks drifted past. "You know," she murmured, "I don't think I'll ever see a cow the same way again." Mark gave a quiet laugh, squeezing her hand. "Yeah, same here. What do you think of this story? Let us know in the comments section. I hope you liked this story. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Also subscribe and press the bell icon to never miss the update from our channel. Thank you.